Good morning. Thank you to both of you for coming before our committee today, and you were so welcoming to this full committee when we came over to visit with you a few years ago and to have some of these similar conversations about your security needs. And I'm so sorry you're having to deal with many of these same threats that members of Congress and our families also deal with. And Justice Barrett, you were sharing that story about your 12-year-old. My boys are 13 and 15, and so I've had to have some of those very similar uncomfortable conversations with them about our security posture, even in the middle of Iowa. So I am sorry you're having to deal with that. I think reasonable people can disagree, and unreasonable people resort to violence, and unfortunately that's where we are. And so I appreciate your comments on that, and no, you are not alone in dealing with those challenges, but it is unfortunate nonetheless. I wanted to follow up on something you started with about the coordination with the marshals when you're traveling for speeches, because you talk about having the Supreme Court police force, but obviously working in coordination with other law enforcement when you're traveling for speeches, some of those teaching opportunities, other engagements. So we know that those are not immune from protests and First Amendment activities as well. Can you speak a little bit to what that work is like in terms of coordinating on the ground as you're traveling the country to have some of those conversations on the ground?
I think some of that coordination might be something we would have to say that if you wanted to talk in a SCIF or with staff just about the operational details, but I think at a high level, I can say that when we are, appearing, say, at a university, there's a lot of coordination, obviously, between the university security staff and our security staff. The same is true whenever we're at an event with local police. There's coordination with local law enforcement authorities. And when we are interacting with other entities within the judiciary, lower courts or at circuit conferences, then there is a lot of coordination with the Marshals Service. I think some of the specifics I probably don't know enough to speak, with specificity, but probably would have to say that would be like in a private meeting.
No, absolutely, and I think happy to have a further conversation about that, because simply we just want to make sure that you feel safe as you're going out and exercising your duties to be open to the public, right, and have those conversations in a public setting. It's of utmost importance that you can do that and feel safe, and that you're getting adequate law enforcement response on the ground, no matter where you're having those conversations. Speaking of recruitment, I just kind of wanted to talk about that as well, because you mentioned that you're on par with Capitol Police, and many of the arrangements are similar to what Capitol Police are. We know that the court's currently offering a $60,000 hiring bonus for Supreme Court police. Can you speak a little bit to the difficulties that you're having in recruiting top talent to take some of these open positions, and where things currently stand with?
Yeah, well, this is a tough time to hire police officers. It's a challenging recruitment environment that maybe fewer people are going into the policing profession, and so you're competing with a lot of entities for the same top qualified people. Notwithstanding that, we've managed to do pretty well. We do offer a recruitment bonus. We like to think we're a pretty good place to work, and we take great care to make that so. But it's a challenging time.
And how do you balance, obviously, that recruitment with some of the risks that, people very publicly see, right? And you're the face of that, obviously, in not only the decisions that are made, but obviously people come and see the court, and people come and want to hear from you. How do you balance that recruitment with some of those risks in terms of getting people in the door?
Yeah, well, people definitely come in the door. We are, we have many visitors to the court. We have a packed courtroom most of the time when we hear argued cases. So we're trying, very hard not to let it interfere with the court's openness to the public, and we'll continue to try our best to do that, and just to make sure that we have the security personnel, the security resources we need to ensure safety within an essentially public building.
And just a question about, and maybe it's something that needs to be addressed in a SCIF as well, because you think about the limelight that's on you, and that may shift depending on a case that's being heard or a decision that's been offered. Do the number of officers or marshals assigned to you vary dependent on that limelight, or is the detail pretty consistent no matter who you are?
We are each assigned between 4 and 8 members of a security detail, but in particular moments when the need arises, and especially if someone is under particular threat or if they're speaking more publicly, so they're more in the limelight in an event, that number increases and we're able to pull from other resources within the court.
And over time, we'd like that detail number to increase. So if now it's 4 to 6, maybe 8 members of a security detail, we'd like to increase that over time when we get to our full staffing needs.
And as Ranking Member Hoyer had spoken, and I know I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman, these people get to know your routines, and making sure that you have people on your detail who are familiar with your activities is critical. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.